What's good, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. This one is focused on some deadly sins that Kabam have committed when it comes to classing certain champions. This is something that I've covered in some previous videos. The links to those are in the description below. They're basically part of my Did They Class Them Wrong series. This essentially is the third installment of that series. So let's explore what I now dub to be deadly sins that Kabam have committed when it comes to classing champions a certain way. In this video, we're going to look at a lot of champions, especially those who were implemented in the first quarter of 2018, right the way through to the start of 2019. You're going to get a lot of my opinion, but at the same time, I'll back it up with some sort of comic book knowledge, and at the same time intermingle some summoner-based thought on the particular champions in question, and also some of Kabam. So I might pee you off, but at the same time, hopefully you appreciate it. But leave your thoughts in the comment section below about whether or not you think I'm right or whether you think I'm wrong. So let's begin our little adventure with Corvus as well as Proxima Midnight. So husband and wife duo, Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. Yeah, where should they be classified? I've got my own thoughts, but at the same token, like, I think Proxima Midnight's got this kind of, falls into an odd argument. It's the Hulk Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok argument of BSery, that should they be cosmic entities, should they be skill entities, but largely are in a different category of their own. And Proxima Midnight may be one of those characters that you could say, is this basically a skill-based champion? The same way you could say that Corvus Glaive, based on the fact his staff has mystical properties, should be a mystic. So it is difficult to get a real argument or thought process around this. Corvus Glaive's glaive is possessing some sort of mystical, yet at the same time cosmic, and also at the same time technical based powers, but mainly it's a case that putting them together as a cosmic is a good argument point. I don't see that you could just go, right, there's an easy answer to this. There's more of a harder question of where do these position themselves. Proxima Midnight is hugely skilled with combat, but at the same time Corvus Glaive has more of this kind of power aspect to his weapon. So where do you chart these two? I think that's the case of going, right, this has definitely got to be cosmic, because otherwise we've got to explain too much BS. So I am not giving these two characters a sin point. Before moving on to August, just want to quickly touch on July in the fact that yes, we've got Ghost. Yes, we've also got Wasp. Should Wasp be a tech? Probably not. It's all about the pin particle, and the pin particle being the science aspect. I suspect Kabam probably thought to themselves, hey, should we do that as a tech? But no, if they've done Ant-Man as a science, then therefore it's a science as well. The pin particle does reign true, although you would say that the suit is all about the tech. But the stuff with the micro universe, I think that more kind of points it towards it being a more of a science. But then how do you explain Ghost? And that is where it becomes a little bit difficult. And I can see a lot of the changes manifesting that is basically a science. If we're going to look at the whole kind of backstory to the character, you could say that it is more of a technical advancement, especially with the more modern age. If you go way back, you may be looking at talking about ideas of it being science, or it could be in a case of looking at it being as a mystic based champion. But either way, tech is the lesser of two evils, being either science or being potentially a mystic, but going down the line of it being tech based on technical advancement of the suit is sort of meeting it in the middle, so I don't feel inclined to give it a sin. But now I'm not being quite so generous, because there's three champions in question I've got something to say about that were put in August. Starting off with Heindel, and this is a character that I really have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this, because this could be a character that falls into more of wishy-washy Hulk Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok argument, in the fact that he is a cosmic based champion. Yes, there's cosmic abilities there. Are there more mystical kind of abilities in the fact of what he really does and how he could be implemented in this game? I think Kabam have got it sorted with him being cosmic, because otherwise you've got to go down the route of going, okay, if we make him a skill based champion, then they've got to explain that. But the power that he has, or the kind of the overwatching, the all-seeing eyes that he has, even though I feel strongly about him being mystic, a lot of the powers in which he's been put into the game are retain this very cosmic based character. So this one doesn't get a sin. Where Red Skull's concerned, with him standing there proudly and laughing, ha 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 ha, this is a very annoying subject for myself, because I feel that this champion could be put in as either being a skill-based champion, and hold me to that in a minute, or a science-based champion, depending on how they look to revamp the character and how he could work in a game. Having a tech-based suit, this kind of technical advancement on his suit with the usage of the Tesseract, is clever and does play into a bit of a modern kind of state of the game, state of comic book releases, and, well, doesn't really play into the release of the films because he didn't have a technical suit. He did interact with the Tesseract, though it didn't really kind of play out well for him. The fact is, I find this a little bit of a, I would love to give this a half sin or a technical sin based on not putting in a champion in the best situation and it just being, it's there, so let's deal with it. But I feel that I'm just going to ignore this as a champion, and unfortunately the community have ignored him too. Unless he's improved for future synergies, I don't see his popularity becoming very prominent in the game. Okay, so here's where sins begin, and I will be, without a shadow of a doubt, starting the first sin off for Korg, based on being a skill-based champion. Kabam on this logic that because we've got Thor Ragnarok as a skill-based character, because he's on a different planet, because they're battling out, if it's into the lore of the game, that he then should have other champions around him. That obviously is a further gladiator, being Korg, that he's indeed a skill. I still really think this is going to be best off being a cosmic champion, regardless of Korg's sort of travel to the location, the kind of arena where he's battling out, because at the end of the day, there was a similar type of creature that Thor was battling in other different planets, so therefore that's a cosmic entity. So yeah, very difficult one here, but I'm pretty certain with this one being a sin based on the fact it's skill and should be a cosmic based character, even though most of the abilities are centered around him being an aggressive fighting character. But the same thing could be said for any cosmic entity. You take a creature out of a planet, he's still the same creature. You put the planet, you go back to the planet, you're still the same cosmic creature. You're not a skill on a different planet. It's hard to explain it, but I think this should be a cosmic. Moving on to September and October, Emma Frost, definite mutant. Omega Red, people could argue around the fact that it could be more of a science, but again, you could get into arguments about enhancements and things with like, okay, so the Winter Soldier was an enhancement, therefore should be a tech based on his arm. Instead he's a skill. Very odd, but there are mutations within Omega Red that definitely make him, and some initial kind of power that does make him a dead set as a mutant. When we're going into October and we've got that symbiote stuff, then you've got Venom the Duck. Yeah, okay, Venom the Duck, that's fine. That being absolutely fine with that. There's no enhancements like there was with with the tech side of things, but obviously the symbiote taking over Venom the Duck. And then also we've got Symbiote Supreme. I do find this a little bit odd, but there has been touched on this as a comic book based thing where there's mystical arts in the symbiote. So therefore, how much of the magician and how much of the cosmic symbiote are merged together? It seems like the symbiote has gone, right, I want more of that mystical based power. So therefore it comes out as a mystic. So yeah, that doesn't get a sin. Let's move us on to November. This is where the sins start racking up. Aegon falls into the Thor Ragnarok Korg argument about the skill over the cosmic, and it seems that most champions that have some sort of gladiatorial based fighting seem to get this skill placement, though that is completely shot in the foot when it comes to the next champion we're going to talk about. But the fact is, he is a skill. This is one champion that is a cosmic entity of sorts. So therefore, he should be placed on with a cosmic banner. And yeah, I would possibly say that this is the second sin, Aegon, in that this should really be a cosmic-based character. But would you say that the skill aspect is prior to the belt? Having the belt, does that then assign it to be more of a cosmic power or have cosmic based powers? This is something of an argument point for you guys, whether or not you feel that just having the belt side of things, then that refers him to being more of a cosmic. Would you say that the belt either had technical properties, would it have magical properties, and therefore is the reason for the power for this, and therefore putting this to more towards a cosmic mystic power, possibly. But at the same time, initially, would it be in skill? And Kabam have gone too much to really explain here, so we've just brandished him as a skill-based champion. Personally, like I said, I'm giving this a sin. Next up from the same month is the champion. Now, this is a difficult one. Personally, I feel that this should have the emblem of the non-class or elder class, or whatever you want to kind of put it. Symbiote Steve got this, and that was the Summon Symbiote. If you're not familiar with that, why we call him Little Steve? The long thing. He should have been here in October. It was big about Little Steve. But the fact is, I think this should have been a point to start introducing these things, because we've seen them in the game. Why not have them as a playable champion or a usable champion in some regards? Yes, this should have been the first. Being an elder, he should possess that. As a cosmic entity, there's a lot more for him as a cosmic entity in total. Yes, he likes scrapping. Would that make him more of a skill? Well, he's meant to be a little bit more powerful than just a skill-based challenger or arena fighter. He should be more than this, so therefore should get that classification of that elder class or unclassed class, whatever you want to call it. The one that Maestro's got, the one that Collector has, the one that Grandmaster has, the one that Summon Symbiote had, Little Steve had. I think that this should be in it, so I'm definitely giving this another sin. Next up, I'm moving on to December of 2018. Now, Night Thrasher, as well as having Darkhawk, two characters. You know, a bit unsure with this. Well, Night Thrasher for sure has got to be a skill. But thoughts on Darkhawk? Darkhawk is a head scratcher, it really is. Because you think about the idea that this suit was created on another planet, in space, or whatever. Is this then a suit that has cosmic-based powers? Yes, it sort of does. It's using cosmic or different planetary technology in order to make it better. So therefore, is seen on any other planet as being a tech. If we're saying that an earthbound person takes on a suit or wears a suit that's cosmically enhanced, then yes, that would be it. I mean, it's the same thing as saying like, okay, so the superior Iron Man suit, it's been made to take on cosmic entities and be more powerful than the standard Iron Man suits even. So yeah, would this be a argument point for this being a cosmic based suit? Oh, very difficult, and I'm still finding, part of me wants to give this half a sin for this, but the fact is the cosmic line, and I think the reasons, and go back to Kabam's reasonings for stuff, that's probably the reason that this is a tech, in order to give more strength to the tech-based line. The cosmic line has a lot of really strong champions. With Proxima last year and Corvus being put out last year, I think that's really the reasoning by it, and why Kabam decided, okay, we want to put this in as a tech. The tech line needs improving. We need stronger tech champions, because let's face it, there's a lot of dodgy tech champions. It's like a 50-50 split between good tech champions and bad tech champions. And sometimes they can't always get a winner. For example, recently, Red Skull. This is a strong tech, and I guess that's a reasoning, but personally, I'd love to have given this a sin for this kind of misplacement. And the final thing to talk about is Diablo and The Thing. So, The Thing's been launched at the point of recording this video. Diablo is surely to follow very shortly. But are these going to be wrong? From an authentic standpoint, yes. Yes, they are wrong. From Kabam's logic, as well as their pointers sort of from Marvel, the whole kind of changes with radiation, how they're kind of applying the cosmic versus the science. It's all about science for them. Yeah, where do you start with this? So I'm not going to re-evaluate and re-argue the point for this, but I will just gently point out the fact that we're talking about cosmic rays, and in some of the promotional material and some of the emails, Kabam have actually made an oopsie by actually pointing out that he's a cosmic, but at the point of release they've done him as a science, and I don't really know why. So they had an idea he would be cosmic to begin with and actually put him in as a science. But will this point out any more Fantastic Four sciences? Personally, I hope not, but I think that Kabam will actually do that and do more of a 50-50 split, because it just feels like what they're going to do. Like whether or not there's going to be about one or two science champions, one or two, or maybe one mystic, one cosmic, and then Doctor Doom's going to be a mystic. You know, I don't really know what they're going to be up to with this, But it's probably going to be a thing that we've just got to put up with. But yes, I do feel that based on this, and yes, you can take the argument point aside, the thing is getting a sin. Moving on to Why Strange Diablo, and why do I say that? Because it looks a bit like Doctor Strange mixed with Wild Luigi, so you've got Why Strange Diablo. So that's just my thing. It's sort of funny, kind of isn't, but whatever. The fact is, Diablo is a mystic character. Now, based on some of the kind of alchemy side of things, it does point in more to be a science-based character. The usage of alchemy to do like potions and things is the kind of the reasoning for this character. So yeah, difficult to really get behind this, and is definitely getting another sin for the collection. But what are the connections between these two that make you go, right, well, mystic, science for the thing? The fact is, they're going around the argument that there's alchemy involved. There's this kind of chemistry-based thing. And because there's a backstory, which I've explained in too many videos to count, and I won't be re-explaining it in a big format, just basically, he creates potions. He tricked the thing in order to give him a potion to put him back to being a normal-based character. He gave him a potion. So maybe this is all part of the story arc, and that's why it's represented in game. That a character that makes potions, that gives him mystical based powers, is given a character that was a cosmic, a potion, which then is being drunk, which therefore is creating him in more worse of state than he's in. I'm just going with that as being an excuse, but I'm not excusing him for getting sins. And the fact is, Diablo and the thing, as I said, are getting a sin each. So there we have it, guys, 5 sins, but I've actually changed my mind, funnily enough. I've gone for 6 sins. The Red Skull thing, I couldn't really think, by the end of the video, I couldn't think of it being a champion that I wanted in as a tech. So being put in as a science or a skill would have been a bit better for the situation. But I can imagine the reason that Kabam didn't do that was based on the fact that, well, he looked a bit kind of like Nazi-ish. But there's ways around that could have been better used rather than just being about being a tech. So 6 sins for Kabam on the classification of their champions. If you've got any thoughts on the ones that we've brought up today and the sins, I could be completely wrong, then put it in the comment section below. Debate with one another, don't fall out, see other people's arguments, but at the same time, be civil at the end of the day. You know, you live your life, smile, be happy, you know what I mean? If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content. And also, if you want me to continue on the series in a few months' time when we've got some more champions, then let me know as well, because that would be quite cool to do this as an ongoing series. Make sure to watch the other previous videos and see how things have improved a little bit with visualization. Classy. But in any case, thanks for watching, and I shall catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.